Alright, this is 2-3, solving multiple step equations. This asks us to solve each equation, then to check your solution. For the sake of this video, I will only be showing you how to solve each equation. For you to check your solution, just make sure you plug the value back in into the equation. Make sure the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Okay. Before we start, I just want to clarify what solve means. To solve each equation means to get the variable alone, to get the variable on one side and to have stuff on the other side. Alright, so number 17, we have 2x plus 4 equals to negative 12. Alright, the first step is to rewrite the equation. Now we have several things that we can do. We can divide by 2 here, or we can subtract by 4 here, right? We use the inverse operation. Okay, we always get rid of the most outside thing first, so we deal with the plus 4. The inverse operation of plus 4 is subtract 4. Make sure you subtract to both sides. Subtract 4 to both sides. What's left over on the left hand side is 2x. Okay, because 2x goes straight down. 4 minus 4 becomes 0. Okay, negative 12 plus negative 14 is negative 16. Right? There is still 2 attached here to the x. It's by multiplication. So another way of reading this is 2 times x. To get rid of the 2, right, we use the inverse operation. The inverse of multiply by 2 is to divide by 2. Once you divide 2 to both sides, you can simplify. What's the left-hand side? You get x. Okay. On the right-hand side, negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. Remember, the answer is still negative, okay? Because a negative divided by a positive is still negative. The next one we have, where is the next one? The next one's down. Oops, sorry. The next one is down here. Okay. We have 18. 18 is 10 equals to negative x minus 18. Okay. Again, it's like before, we have to get rid of the most outside thing. The most outside thing right here is this negative 18. Another way of thinking about negative 18 is subtract 18. So what is the inverse operation of subtract 18? It is plus 18. Make sure you add 18 to both sides. Okay, right hand side, 10 plus 18 is 28. And what is left over on the right hand side is just your negative 7 times x. Alright, because again, this negative 18 and this plus 18 together, they make 0. Okay, x is still not alone. There is still this multiply by negative 7 that is still attached to it. To get rid of multiply by negative 7, what do we have to do? The inverse of multiply by negative 7 is to divide by negative 7. Divide that to both sides. 28 divided by negative 7 becomes negative 4. Right hand side just becomes x. So x equals to negative 4. 19 gets us negative 3 is equal to 2 plus a over 11. My first step is always to rewrite the equation. Alright, I have a couple of things I could do here. I could get rid of this divide by 11, or I can get rid of this 2. We do the most outside thing first, right? So this 2 I have to get rid of. What is the opposite of 2, right? This is a positive 2. It is to subtract 2. Subtract 2 to both sides. The left hand side, negative 3 plus negative 2 is negative 5. Okay? Right hand side, a over 11. That is what is left over. How do we get rid of this divide by 11? The inverse of divide by 11 is to multiply by 11. Make sure you multiply 11 to both sides. Okay, the left hand side, 11 times negative 5 is negative 55. Okay, again, 11 times negative 5 is negative 55. What is left over on the right hand side is just your a after you use the inverse operation, because 11 over 11 is just 1. Alright, let's go look at 19 now. 20. 20 has x divided by 6 is equal to negative 7. Okay, what is attached to the x? Is this divide by 6? What is the inverse of divide by 6? It is to multiply by 6. Multiply 6 to both sides. The left hand side, what is left is your x. The right hand side, negative 7 times 6 is negative 72. 21. 21 has this equation, 2x divided by 3 plus 10 is equal to 20. My first step is always to rewrite the equation. Okay, I can do a lot of things here, but let me do the most outward thing first, right? The most thing on the outside. The plus 10 is what is on the outside, okay? So let's get rid of the plus 10. Uh, the inverse of plus 10 is subtract 10. Subtract 10 to both sides. Once you subtract 10 to both sides, the left-hand side just becomes 2x divided by 3, okay? Because the 10 minus 10 becomes 0. 20 subtract 10 just becomes 10. Now it looks a little bit more doable, okay? I'm going to do this in two parts. I'm going to get rid of this divide by 3 first. Do you see this ugly divide by 3 on the bottom here? Yeah, not good. I don't like this divide by 3. So, what is the inverse of divide by 3? Multiply by 3 to both sides, okay? So the left-hand side, after I multiply by 3, I got a 2x left over. And on my right-hand side, 10 times 3 is 30. Right? X is not alone yet. There is this 2 that is still attached to this x by multiplication. You could read this as 2 times x equals to 30. How do you get rid of this 2? The inverse of multiplication is division, so we have to divide by 2 to both sides. Once we divide 2 to both sides, on my left hand side, 2 over 2 becomes 1, so I'm just left with an x. On my right hand side, 30 subtract 2 becomes 15. So that is my final answer. Some of you want to combine the steps, which is perfectly fine. You can multiply 3 over 2, okay, to make this and this as one step. 22 is down here. 22 asks us 2x divided by 3 minus 4 equals to 6. Again, we do the most outward thing after we write the equation. After I rewrote the equation, okay, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. The reason I add 4 to both sides is I'm trying to get rid of the most outward thing first, okay? So add 4 to both sides. The left-hand side, what's left is just your 2x divided by 3 is equal to 10. Okay, 2x divided by 3 equals to 10. How do I get rid of the divide by 3? I multiply by 3 to both sides. Right? After I multiply 3 to both sides, the left hand side, I get 2x. And on the right hand side, I should have gotten 30. Good. Okay, this is off. This should be 2x. Right? Yeah, because, right, yep, 2x. Good. Right? What is left is just the 2x. Okay? 3 over 3 becomes 1. So divide 2 to both sides. Oh, this is off. It should be divide 2 to both sides. Error. Haha, that's bad. Okay. Divide 2 to both sides. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Alright. There you go. 23. 23 has 2 parentheses x plus 5. Close the parentheses, and that is equal to 20. We have to get rid of the parentheses first of all. So distribute the 2 to 2, distribute to x, then 2, distribute that to 5. It should look something like this. Okay, 2 times x plus 2 times 5 equals to 20. 2 times x becomes 2x. Okay, 2 times 5. This is, how did you get 4x? It's 2x. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, nothing happens to the right hand side. This is just a little simplification. After that, subtract 10 to both sides. What is left on my left hand side, which is just 2x. Okay, 20 subtract 10 is 10. Right. Next part, I have to divide by 2 to both sides. Okay, not 4. Divide 2 to both sides. The reason I divide 2 to both sides is I'm trying to get rid of this multiply by 2 here. Left hand side just becomes x, and the right hand side just becomes 5. 10 divided by 2 is just 5. Okay. 24, we have 3 parentheses 3x minus 7, close the parentheses, equals to 60. Again, this is like before, we have to get rid of the parentheses first. So what I'm going to do is distribute the 3 into each term. So 3 times 3x and 3 times negative 7. It should look like this. Okay, 3 times 3x plus 3 times negative 7 equals to 60. That's just distributing. Okay, so this goes here and this goes here. Alright, 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times negative 7 is your negative 21. And the right hand side is just 60. Okay, this looks like before. We have to get rid of the most outward thing first. So what is the inverse of subtract 21? It is to
add 21. Add 21 to both sides. Okay, what's left on the left hand side is 9x. What's left on the right hand side, 60 plus 21 is 81. Okay, now how do I get rid of the multiply by 9 here? I have to divide by 9. Divide by 9 to both sides. Should look like this. 81 divided by 9 is just 9. There you go. Okay, next one. Oh, that's it. Alright, that was the last one with 24. So this completes 2-3 for solving multiple step equations.